Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you part 3 of What If Naruto Was Neglected and Lost Everything, guys. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in social media platform, and also stay in tune for the brand new episode over Anime King 3. Yes, you heard that correctly. If you're new guys, I have 3 channels, which I post on every single day. So the links will be down in the description for Anime King and Anime King 3 for you guys to enjoy. Go ahead and click those red subscribe button and turn on that bell notification so you can see exactly when I post and become a part of the Anime King family. Thank you for all of your help and your support, and yeah, without further ado, what do you say begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last part we left off, Orochimaru was doing the test with his Genin team, as Naruto leg was still a bit sore, as he told them to go ahead and hide. And if he found them before the time was up, they would be sent back to the academy. The group made their way off with Naruto coming up with a plan as uncle had to carry him because of his leg. They end up throwing a smoke bomb, using it to make it seem like a diversion while they went inside, closing their eyes and holding their breath. Orochimaru fled in the village looking after them, but they simply went back to where they first started. After talking to Sir Toby, Orochimaru shot back out there. But he arrived, as he was going to break their hopes and dreams by coming in at the last second. But to his surprise, the bell rang. He was confused because he was sure that it didn't ring again as he was monologuing, as Naruto had switched a timer and tampered with it. Orochimaru was impressed. Yes, Naruto caught his attention, and he decided that, yes, he will take this team on and train them towards his best of his ability. So with that, he made his way to the office. Minato was angry to think that a couple of brats were able to trick a Sannin, as he told him to not make them pass, but still he go ahead and pass them. As Orochimaru didn't really care after all, he didn't like Minato being Hokage, and the man think that he had the authority to boss him around, just because he had that title, while Orochimaru did not give one crap, as he simply left. As you could hear, the windows creaking, as Minato tried to put a demand over him, just because he was a Hokage. But Orochimaru soon showed him that he was not someone to be trifled with. With that out of the way, Anko decided to get to know the others. She messed up a few times, as Naruto didn't like to talk about him being disowned. She knew that it must have hurt, and she didn't know why the 4th Hokage would just disown him like that. But she decided to keep to herself for now. They went by his place to see the place ransacked, as it was destroyed. No one stole anything, they just destroyed his place, as Anko felt pity on him. The next morning, Orochimaru came and dragged them all out of bed except for Naruto, as he was already ready. Itachi was confused, or Orochimaru was able to get inside of the Uchiha compound. Their first training session went well, but they learned a lot about Orochimaru, like they should always be ready, and also don't question him when he told them things, or it will turn out really bad for them. A couple of months passed after that, as they went to the office as usual, as Naruto was staying behind so that he wouldn't face the man who was his father. It was time for their first C-rank mission, as they clear every D-rank mission already. Minato had no choice but to give them a C-rank mission for them to went out to get an expensive doll from someone, as the group took it and they made their way off. On the first night of watch, Anko sat down next to Naruto, as there was something on her mind that she wanted to ask him. So she did. "So, you like that Ichiraku Ramen girl?" she said. So yeah guys, that was basically as we left off. You guys can switch across it, please, and check it out for yourself. So this will begin this new episode. "So, you like that Ichiraku Ramen girl?" said Anko in an innocent tone. But then she saw his face sadden for a moment. "No, I can't," he mumbled. And why can't you, she asks. After the Kyuubi stuff and the seal, the Hokage declared me a hero, you know? He said it out loud and proud. My son is a hero. He holds the Kyuubi inside of him. And my son is to be respected as a hero that he is, for holding back the great beast. But the next day I was forced to pack a few things and thrown into an orphan apartment, claiming that I was a danger for myself and those around me. His tone became bitter. And then I was disowned for disrespecting the clan leader. And just like that, the hero that jailed the Kyuubi became simply the Kyuubi in human skin. Everyone feared me. They thought that I even attacked the Hokage myself, since they spotted him with some bandage later on. He probably cut himself at the wounded part, said Naruto, as his eye winks. And then after a while he came back to me, said that I must come back, but only if I stop being a shinobi. But I just wanted to know why. I want to know why couldn't he give me that offer in the beginning? Why did he have to keep me out? Why did he have to disown me? What was his games? What was his reasons? But he did not tell me. He said only a Hokage could understood, that I could never understand. And from that day, I decided I would become Hokage to find the truth out. He threw another stick into the fire. Unknowing to him, Orochimaru was wide awake, listening to everything. Wait, how does that tie to the Ichiraku Ramen girl? Asked Uncle. Well, before everything started, before being a Jinchuriki, before having the Kyuubi inside, I usually went there with my mother, you know? She was the same age as I, so we became friends. And me and her and Itachi always played together. That is why Itachi doesn't have a stick up his ass, like most of the other Uchihas. No offense for that, as he said that he could have sworn that Itachi mumbled, none taken in his sleep. But the boy was sleeping, right? Get to the point already, said Uncle, as he was going around the point as she wanted to know what was going on. As he was speaking like he was much older than his age. He was just 7 years old. I didn't go back to Ichiraku Ramen for a while, but when I did she was scared. In the beginning, the smile was obviously fake. Flashback. Well, officially, he had gone long without food, as he was starving. He had some money in his pocket, and it would be enough for some salt ramen. It was his mother's, or well, his ex-mother's favorite. And he could only get one, but he was hungry. He didn't know what to do. The paper slip. The guy that brought the paper slip to him just threw it at him and spit on it. Was it a spit cleaner? He didn't know what to do with that paper slip. Wait, did spit cleaners actually exist? He wondered. So in the end he was starving and he was there. Usually he would have entered the normal way, greeting them, but he was a bit afraid. What if they kick him out? As his shoulder was still a bit sore, so he slowly made his way, not making an abrasive entrance. His eyes made contact with Toki, who had stopped doing what he was doing. The man's face looked perplexed and shocked. Hi, that was all Naruto found himself saying at the moment. Hello, Naruto-kun. What would you like to order? Toki said with a smile, as Naruto looked like a rabbit to him that was about to sprint out at any moment if he be too over-abrasive. One salt ramen, please, Ichiraku-san, said Naruto. As he sat down at the counter, his gaze looking downwards. He was actually shivering, and the back of his jacket seemed torn, and a dark red color was on it. Toki frowned. The boy was doing his best to be respectful as always. The rumors of him being disrespectful was obviously false, but the problem was he couldn't understand. How could someone disown a child from saying no to a parent just because the boy said no? He was disowned? Kids should not be disowned. They should be taught. Coming right up. Help me out here, he said. She was behind the counter, but every time her gaze landed on Naruto, he saw it. He saw the fright in her eyes, the fear, as the bowl was served to him. As he weakly nodded and started to eat in silence, the entire place was tense and nervous, as the boy wasn't being his usual smiley self. But no one could really blame him after what happened. Toki could actually see the boy was really famished. As he prepared another bowl, the weak voice of Naruto spoke up. Here, I got to... Wait a minute, Naruto-kun, he said. As Naruto paused. Another one is coming up on the house. It's a special day today after all. As he said that, Naruto slowly sat down, looking perplexed at the man and Ayam. As the man brought a bowl to him. One of the biggest, the most costliest bowl. Naruto looked at the man in a mix of joy and happiness, and confusion as well, as he turned towards the man. Well, today's the day my favorite customer came back to my stall. Remember, kid, I have only one law. I never kick out any customer, no matter who he is. And with that, Naruto nodded. For once, thanks for the food, he said, as he started to eat. Naruto-kun? As Naruto looked up as Ayam stared at him. Did you become the Kyuubi, she asked. Toki nearly paled at that, as he never thought his daughter would ask that question. He should have explained to her the boy was clearly Naruto, no matter how you look at him. There was no way he could be anything else, especially that enormous nine-tailed fox. I don't know. I don't feel indifference in Naruto. I just have this tattoo on my right shoulder. But that is all it is, he said. Oh, thank Kami, Ayam said. I was so scared I would have to beat the crap out of you to get Naruto-kun back, she said. What? Both Naruto and Toki said, as he looked at the 5-year-old girl that had a smile on her face. What is it, father? Hana-chan said I should always beat the crap out of people I don't like. I don't like the Kyuubi, but I like Naruto-kun very much, she said. That made Toki cough slightly, but Naruto didn't seem to understand at all. Well, I see you're very honest about that, as he was lucky that crisis was avoided at the moment, because Naruto did not understand what she meant. In the flashback. Wait. You know that she basically told you that she liked you, right? And that was 2 years ago. You know you could have returned the feeling already, Uncle said. As Naruto's gaze turned upwards to the night sky, Hana-chan was actually Hana Inuzaka, who after a while became my classmate at the academy, who confronted me on the very same thing you're talking about right now. But she told me to stay away from my arm, and never let my demon paws on her, or I will taste her fists. Uncle raised an eyebrow at that. You know this is getting very long-winded. Why don't you just cut to the chase and tell me why you're not returning her feelings? Fine, said Naruto. Here he was, trying to build a comfortable road with them, but she was just wanting everything to get straight to the point. I verbally assaulted Hana back. She cried, especially when I claimed that she didn't take care of her Ninkins. When Ayam found out, she asked me to apologize, and she arranged a meeting between us. During the so-called meeting, I apologized, and we hung out for about 5 minutes before a couple of Inuzakas dragged Hana away. They kicked Ayam for being a friend of a demon and threw me against a tree, as everything clicked in Uncle's mind right now. So you distance yourself from her to avoid her harm. Yeah, said Naruto. You know, if I was you, I would have tapped into the Kyuubi power already, and I would have beat all my enemies down to the ground to make them cry blood of tears, while I stand over their beaten, broken bodies to make them worship me like the goddess I am, she said. Laughter could be heard. Interesting words, said Orochimaru. It wasn't like he was going to sleep nevertheless, so he decided that it was time to stop faking it. But tell me, do you think the demons are there to do your bidding once in a seal? Having a demon inside and be able to use your power to control your power, do you think it's easy? Do you know another reason Naruto-kun is truly hated? Wait, there's more than one sensei? Naruto asks, perplexed at that. Yeah, what's worse than being the Jinjulki of the Kyuubi? Asks Uncle. Well, you see, that seal on his shoulder is an iron seal. It is weak. It barely does its job on the 8-tailed beast of Kumo, and they had to swap their Jinjulki every 20 years. Now, the thing about the 9-tail is, it's much stronger. So anyone that has a good knowledge of sealing, knowing how weak and fragile that seal is, do you think they actually sleep good at night? Uncle eyes widen. Wait, so Naruto could turn into the Kyuubi at any second, she said. As Naruto's face lost all of his color, so he could potentially die. He would be destroyed if the Kyuubi were to take over his body and emerge. No, that couldn't be. There had to, well, no. As both of them released a sigh of relief, hearing that from their sensei, there was another sigh as well from the corner, from Itachi, who was wide awake. But it means, when he taps onto the power, there will be a greater risk of him going berserk and losing control. And that will mean I will have to kill him. Like I will kill you if you don't shut up and do your guard time, while we get our sleep. Understood, Uncle-chan. Uncle gulped as she quickly nodded, as she took her turn. Time skip. This was their first C rank, and everything was going rather well. It was a cakewalk, as she could feel as she was catching up to her teammates, and soon enough she would be as strong as them, and all of them would be equal. And then, they could become the next generation of Sanins. As Uncle watched, she never noticed that Orochimaru left camp, leaving a husk behind that could be used as a distraction. As he had a meeting with his night visitor, a couple meters away from the camp, a boy stood silently as Orochimaru near him. A perfect white mask with two really small eye holes, so that the boy could see from them. This boy was none other than one of Danzo's lackey. So tell me, what does Danzo wish to say, Little Root? Asked Orochimaru. Time skip. Tanzuka town was a populated area with many rich people passing through. It was near to the borders of Hainakone, not completely out of the Fire Nation, so it was not really a long trip for them to get there. The hotels were filled from head to toe, and there was a lot of casinos with many gambling going on. So the town was very flourishing cash, and criminal organization rise a lot, seeing that there was a lot of money here for them to use to better their organization, to try and get a perfect spot in the town. There was a lot of back alleys, a lot of dirt road, and the most scum of the scum was always living there. But in the center of the Tanzuka town, there was where the rich people were, all of them. They had guards and police force there to keep the peace, as there was a lord in Tanzuka town, Aiden Tanzuka. Tanzuka town was once greater than this before, but during the attack of the Nine Tails, a Biju bomb had destroyed half of the town, being in close radius. There was a lot of death toll that night, a lot of destruction. But construction has come a long way since. But the people that were there who witnessed the explosion and saw the many that died, it was still fresh on their mind. At the moment, the three Jennings were walking. The doll maker was in the center of the town, as he was where the rich of the rich live. Orochimaru was behind the three Jennings. When Orochimaru was behind them, it seems like they had a private chauffeur, as enemies wouldn't dare attack the Sanin, knowing that their life would be in jeopardy. Kokyu working area was a private clinic of some sort, as they had a lot of soft sofas, chairs, with little girls there, a lot of them, dressed in elegant clothing with their mothers. As Naruto's eye twitched a bit as he looked around. This is a doll maker shop. Are we in idiot land, he thought. Oh my god. Is that a golden napkin in that brat's hand? Please tell me these idiots don't buy more than one doll. Ever since he found out that one doll was for 200,000 Ryu, Naruto couldn't believe it. That was just beyond crazy. Orochimaru had the same thought process, but towards everyone. But Naruto was coming along quite well as he saw the look on the boy's face. They were nothing but pure idiots, buying dolls. Stupid fools they were, as money resources spent into dolls. Itachi was surprised and the guard stopped them, allowing Orochimaru to pass only. Kokuyu-sama was expecting a Konoha team, but he gave clear orders only to let the sensei through. One of the guards said as he looked at them with a strange look. A look like he was saying, "Dirty brats like you shouldn't be going around the clean facility." That was probably what the doll maker had said. Orochimaru looked towards him with a smirk as he nodded. "Wait for me outside," he said. The three Jennings nodded as they turned to walk away and wait outside. Murmurs from the old, fat women that were in there muttered something about dirtiness and uncivilized as they looked at their spoiled brats, thinking that their brats were better than the Konoha team and they did not deserve to be in here. When they finally reached outside, Uncle started to pout a bit. "Do you see how they look at us?" Uncle said. "I wanted to neuter them. I could probably neuter them and kill them, you know?" As she turned to the other two, Itachi simply frowned. "There is no need to resort to violence, Uncle-san. It wasn't nice, but there's nothing we can do, besides causing some incident if we try." As Uncle sighed at that, "I don't like it when they look at me." She corrected herself. "I don't like it when they look at us. We could have probably beaten those two pricks of a guard without a problem. Uncle-san, the strong should protect the weak, not bully those they don't like," said Itachi, as he was trying to reason with the elder girl. But she wasn't that easy to convince. "I say they could have treated us better, or at least kept their damn thoughts to themselves," she said. "They did keep their thoughts to themselves," said Naruto, as Uncle threw a knuckle punch right towards his head. "It's a rhetoric, way of speech. Actually, a rhetoric question. They did not need the answer." "Naruto is correct," said Itachi. Uncle glared at him. She would have probably tried to punch Itachi as well, but he would probably dodge, as Naruto probably let her do it, or he just wasn't fast enough, she wondered herself. After the first weeks being nearly trained exclusively by Orochimaru, she was on par, or probably stronger than Naruto. She knew that they were a team and she shouldn't be talking about who is stronger, but she won most of the spars recently, as the blonde boy always seemed rather afraid of hurting her, something that made her rather mad sometime, so she ended up don't pulling her punches, and he always got some bruises, but he simply shrugged them off like they were nothing. She said that she was sorry at first, but It went on as she started to get a rather arrogant attitude around the blonde. Something he seemed to notice, but he didn't seem to address it at all. Anyway, there isn't a single problem in the mission, so we might finish this up and catch in that money fast, said Uncle. As Itachi spoke, how much did a C-rank mission pay, he asked. From 30 to 100,000, said Naruto. But obviously, you must consider that you spend money on a mission from long term on food or inns to rest. Thus, you don't really earn that much. Doing 2 D-rank missions in the village in one day is more convenient than a long-term C-rank mission. Though, I didn't think that you were short on money, Itachi, said Naruto. I wanted to buy a souvenir to bring back for Mom, and something for Sasuke. That is if we have time, said Itachi. And knowing that I won't end up with an empty wallet at the end of the day put me at ease. At that, Uncle simply chuckled. If you go with the Scrooge, you start acting like one, huh? I did not. Itachi was cut off as Orochimaru came out. Its eyes were blazing angry. It seems the man need one more day to finish the blasted chunk of wood, Orochimaru said, as he hated to be forced to wait. If there was one thing that made their sensei mad, to miss out the timetable was make him late. So for today, we will move towards the outskirts of the town, and I will teach you a very important lesson. He started the move. He didn't even explain as the 3 Genins followed behind him. As they started the move, Naruto's eyes darted around. He felt something strange. Itachi, he whispered. Itachi glanced towards him. I've got a feeling, said Naruto. Ongo's ear twitched as she heard what Naruto said. Everyone had bad feelings every now and then. She was sure that Sensei was going to teach them something tough, but nothing for them to pull their kunais. As they reached into the dirt street road, moving over towards the side, Orochimaru smiled at them. A big, wide, happy smile. Something that Orochimaru would never do. Come on, boys. Let's teach a demon group Itachi kunai embedded right into the man's throat. As he gargled. Before he collapsed, his transformation dropping, showing the imposter underneath that was under transformation. As the man looked like an academy reject. As 6 men burst out of the bushes, surrounding the group rather quickly. As Naruto pulled out an explosive tag and yelled out loud, "No one move or this goes off," he said. All of them paused. Given their distance, he could probably throw it at them, so they did not engage. Uncle pulled out a kunai as she got the time. She wouldn't admit it, but that was a kunai that Naruto gave to her in the first time of them doing that exercise. And it was a very good kunai, so she kept it polished. They do seem to be a bit too much for us, you know. And I would like not to become ashes in the wind, Uncle said. She wondered where Naruto get that explosive tag from. Those things were costly. Itachi, you there? Naruto asked. As Itachi was behind him and he couldn't look to be sure, his eyes on the man in front of them. But Itachi wasn't there. Sure, he had tense. From the moment he saw that cruel smile on Orochimaru's face, he knew that this wasn't real Orochimaru. He threw the kunai for the scratch a man's cheek or something. But Itachi hit the artery. Was there so much blood in a human body? Orochimaru told him that they would have to kill. His father had told him that he would have to kill. He knew that the first kill scarred people, but was that the reason people drowned themselves in alcohol? Even without his Sharingan, he could remember the man's shocked face, every single detail of it. And that didn't make him feel stronger. It made him feel scared of what he was. A tool made for murder. As Orochimaru said, they were a thief of life. That is when Naruto called him. But he did not move. He knew fire jutsus, he could use them. Instead of making Naruto use an explosive tag, those things were rather costly. Given his techniques, he never really carried any of them. No, they were surrounded, but he was too scared. He couldn't even start making the hand signs. Yeah, he's behind you alright, said Uncle. Now, got any plans in that head of yours? That doesn't involve us getting beat down to shreds. Yes, and for that I'm sorry, said Naruto. As he rushed past, rushing toward the smallest person of the group. Seeing the demon coming towards him with an explosive tag, the man decided that he didn't want to die. So he ran, shifting himself out of the way rather quickly from the demon. But he didn't fall. He was confused. He looked towards his leg to see that the demon had grabbed onto his leg. To his shock and surprise, the explosive tag was on his leg, already fizzling. Boom! The explosion broke the circle. A few of them were blown back as blood sprayed in the air, as Naruto also got damaged in the explosion. But the others quickly got to their feet. Come on, is that the best you got? The demon had to die today. For all the damage and destruction he caused 2 years ago, he will die. As Uncle watched, as they did not care about them. All they want was the demon blood and her hand was shaking as she clutched onto her kunai, afraid to move. She saw the blood, she saw the corpses, but why was her hand clenching so tight to the kunai? She realized it then, she was afraid. Itachi had taken a life out of instinct, and Naruto had done the same. But he did it so everyone would focus on him, so that he could buy them time to escape. The both of them stood there in silence, not knowing what to do, as Uncle took a deep breath. "Hey, clan boy," she said. Itachi slowly turned to look at her. "Should we go and help our friend?" she asked. "You're right, Uncle-san. Sorry," said Itachi. "Well, he can run. He does have the advantage in this terrain. He could slip, or..." They were cut off as a half snake, half Orochimaru slithered in front of them, his face showing anger. "What excuses do you brats have?" he said. His tone was not pleasant at all. They would have preferred to be surrounded by the bandits again than face down against a Sani like this. As none of them were able to say anything, they just gaped like fishes. At least someone amongst you had the guts to put up a fight, and with that he simply slickered away from them. On the other hand, Orochimaru was furious, but for a completely different reason that could not be told. Flashback. "So tell me, what does Danzo wish to say, little Root?" The boy, probably the same age as his Jennings, spoke in an emotionless tone. Danzo wished to convince the weapon to seek the aid of Root, having him drop out of the shinobi program, or forcing him to make a choice to select Root. "And what if I refuse the order?" The boy did not flinch or move a single muscle. "Then we ask that you do not interrupt our mission." Danzo-sama had saw it likely that the boy failed his mission, so that he will be removed from the shinobi program altogether. Orochimaru narrowed his eyes. Why would failing at C rank throw him out of the program? Emotions make people weak, Orochimaru-sama. That is the reason why Danzo-sama asked me to give. With those words, the Root Ninja simply shunshed away. Of course, Orochimaru could have grabbed him at any time, but he was just a pawn and a lackey. He didn't know more than what he was told. But everything made clear to Orochimaru when he met that Kokyo guy. The doll was packed and ready, but it was too light. Orochimaru tore apart the package. There was nothing inside. The man was surprised that the doll was gone because he had already packed it. As Orochimaru understand now, it was a ploy to get him away. So that left him furious. Meanwhile, Naruto had managed to reach the main road. As he was able to reach the main road, as the 5 thieves caught up to him, one of them threw a pole as it tear right through his right leg, making him clutching it in pain as he fell down to the ground. The others moved closer as they pulled out a small trench knife. They wanted to make this as painful as possible. "So the demon is finally gonna die. Thank Kami," one of them said, with a scar going over his face, as he brought down the knife and stabbed Naruto right in his stomach, as Naruto gasped in pain. Before he flicked his wrist, a kunai in his hand as he stabbed it right through the man's leg. Naruto jumped up to yank onto the man to hold him as a hostage, but another one grabbed onto him too fast and threw him. With the pole still in his leg, he smashed hard, rather painfully. Even when wounded, the demon still fight. "What a monster," another one said, as he stabbed Naruto right on the knee. They were a large family, but when the Kyuubi attacked, most of their members died, turning them into this ragtag group that was remained. So how could they pass up this revenge, as they received a tip that the demon would be in town this day? Poor Takeda was the one to do a hench, as everyone was afraid of Asani, knowing that if the man was there and if he ever caught sight of them, they would instantly die. But they had got him away. Sadly though, Takeda had died, but they had got the demon to themselves, and they were surely going to make him pay for what he did. Naruto cursed his bad luck. He didn't have another explosive note, and he was flaring with pain, so he did the only thing he could do. He pulled out another explosive tag. It started to sizzle. The man jumped backward rather quickly, as they didn't want to become, well, pieces, like this suicidal kid. "Finally committing suicide, you brat!" As Naruto jumped up to his working leg, as he revealed, it was nothing but a ramen coupon. It was hench, to show an explosive tag. "I'll die fighting," he says. He held on to the kunai. The one that Naruto stabbed in his foot was limping, as the other 4 charged forward. "Let's put an end to this skirmish on the earth." If he was gonna die, he was gonna go down fighting. As Naruto dropped to the side, forgetting about his pain as he drive the kunai through the man's hand, ripping the man's hand clean open. But the pain was too much as he fell. It was like deja vu as he heard a sword sliding out of his sheath. Kusanagi. All the bodies around him fell. As Naruto found himself being lifted up, as he looked directly into the eyes of Orochimaru, as he couldn't devise the emotion. Was it hatred? Was it anger? Was it hate? It was never worry. Orochimaru never showed worry in his eyes. But his look, it was perplexed. He lost too much blood as he felt his body swoop as darkness claimed him. When he woke up, he smelled tea leaf. Tea leaf. Uncle. As he realized that Uncle was carrying him, he was alive. He was glad for that. To die without knowing the truth would have been pretty bad. Maybe coming, once he died, would have answered his question. Well, he hoped. As Uncle felt him stir. Sensei, he's awake! As Naruto groaned a bit because of her loud voice. Orochimaru turned as Itachi looked towards his friend. That looked like he had been through hell. Good. Drop him now, Uncle-chan, Orochimaru said. Uncle would drop him, as her sensei said. As Naruto felt a sharp pain in his back, but his leg felt completely fine. Now, what did you do wrong, boy? Orochimaru said, his gaze scanning Naruto entirely. I left my team behind, said Naruto. Orochimaru shook his head. No, you left your team behind while being unprepared. One more explosive tag with them following you. You could have sent them in disarray. Why did you only have one? They're costly, Sensei, and they're kept under lock. It's difficult to get them, and at night, they hide the chest somewhere, he said. Then I'll teach you a E-rank jutsu that you can surely find costly. Other than that, don't think that I would take kindly to have wasted all this time with you. Now, look. As he pulled out a cloth from his sleeve, a simple normal cloth. With a quick movement, the cloth became a canvas, showing the scene behind Orochimaru, making him slightly invisible, a diversion of a transformation system. It's generally skill for hiding. Now tell me, how can you use this to your advantage? Orochimaru asked. As Naruto frowned, he just woke up, and he was thrown on the ground, and he was asked that. But he knew that if he said something wrong, well, it wouldn't be nice. So he decided to think first before he said anything. A thought came to him. I can use it to hide behind the wall of the shop, have a clone exit the shop to see where the explosive tags are hidden. As he said that, Orochimaru nodded. Good, remember, it's like using a transformation, but you must memorize the state around you to make sure it fit properly. Otherwise, it may fail, and it may cause problems. Remember to keep your thought in the image that you wish to create, understood? Naruto nodded. Remember, this is a visual hiding, so chakra sense, sound, anything like that would make you still traceable. But with a civilian shopkeeper, you should have no problem. But the ninja weapon shopkeeper is a ninja, Sensei, said Naruto. That he is. Well, it seems there is no way that you can get the explosive tags unless you find the Ryu for it. With that, Orochimaru simply turned as he started to walk back to the village. As they walked, Itachi's gaze were looking over towards Naruto, as he was walking by now, but rather strangely. As Naruto glanced down, his knee was twisted, right? Orochimaru sensei fixed it with his injection, Itachi whispered. You were a mess of blood when he reached you. You're lucky, you know? Itachi did not say what he really wanted to say. You're a damn idiot. You nearly died, you idiot brat. Well, he wasn't that subtle, so he kept that part to himself. Yo, brat, don't scare us like that ever again. Playing hero doesn't suit you. We could have handled them together, said Uncle, trying to smile. But they wanted me, not you, said Naruto. I couldn't bring my troubles to you. Uncle whacked him over the head once again. For once, Itachi was glad that she did that because he would have done the same. Bullcrap, we're a team. If someone messed with my Naruto-chan, I'll mess with their guts, she said, as she winked at him. She then turned. Sensei, when do I get to sign the snake summoning contract? I want to do that cool snake thing too, she said. While Naruto was puzzled, did she just call him Naruto-chan? He didn't even care if she was getting snake summons or not. Was he big tall Naruto-chan? That made him feel rather fuzzy inside as he kept on walking beside his teammates. They were right. If anyone tried to mess with his team, he would butcher them like the scum they are. If they wanted a demon, he will give them a demon. He will never fall without a fight. He will never fall without giving it his all. He would slaughter them all and make them suffer. If their fear turned to hatred upon him, he would make them feel utter pain. His eyes grew colder as he thought about what he would do to those and how he would do it. He had people that care for him, and he was gonna protect each and every one of them. But first, he need to get stronger, a lot stronger. But towards Itachi, as he wondered did Orochimaru egg on the girl so much, as he shook his head, as he felt a slight feeling of jealousy trying to build up in him. Obviously, their sensei would do his best to make sure the three of them are on par together. If it meant spending more time with Uncle, he would do that, and it wasn't a problem. He could always train with Naruto to get stronger, but something was bugging him. Not the chakra control exercises. When would their sensei start to teach him elemental jutsus? He could use the fire jutsu, but Naruto and Uncle didn't have any elemental jutsus at all. If they were trained in them, it could prove a strength if they were in a pinch. He understood that Orochimaru was maybe taking things slowly, but there was something about the way that he would teach in them. E-rank jutsus. That was the only jutsu that Orochimaru taught, and it was Naruto. As Itachi did not overlook that, he didn't teach him any other jutsus. That was strange. As he wondered, was their sensei slowing down their growth intentionally? It was a bad thought. He would speak to Naruto later on. He glanced towards Naruto as he saw the look in his eyes. That look rather dark. Naruto. Naruto. As he didn't seem to hear him for the first time, Naruto turned his head. Huh? How are you feeling? Itachi asked. For what? Naruto asked. You killed the man, didn't you? As Naruto's eyes widened for a moment before they returned back to normal, as he tried to find something in his head that was bothering him. It seems I did, he said. I killed 3 of them, he said. 2 with the explosion, 1 in my kunai. The blood was everywhere, wasn't it? He asked with a small grin on his face. It was, Itachi said, as he saw Naruto's shoulders shaking a bit. But it's not something to smile about, Naruto. We took life today, said Itachi. They came at us, Itachi. They would have killed us if we did not kill them back, Naruto said. Still, we took their lives, Naruto. We became no better than them. Itachi was shocked when Naruto grabbed him by the shirt, as he looked him directly in the eyes. We are better than them, Itachi. We survive. Where they die because they're weak, and we are strong. We are ninjas, while they were thief, scum, worthless of being called human. We will always be higher than them, always be atop. And they better have saw their lessons. Those who had saw better have known. If you mess with a demon, you're bound to die. As he didn't release Itachi's shirt. I'm sorry, he said. I don't know what took me, I'm sorry. As Itachi looked at him, this was Naruto alright. Not the one that called himself a demon. This one that always took the pain and suffering from everyone else. The one that jailed the Kyuubi. Now, he must realize. As Itachi thought that he was thinking this. If he was gonna take this path, he will have to become a demon. And he will, if he was gonna protect them. You're too kind, Naruto, Itachi said. As he ruffled, the boy's here. Aww, said Uncle. I'll bring a camera next time. So cute. As she had a small dribble of blood coming down her nose. Which was nothing good if the 2 boys had recognized it. Orochimaru looked at the scene with vivid interest. Their return to Konoha came at the late afternoon. Orochimaru tensed a bit at the smell in the air. The smell of toads. Orochimaru-kun, said a voice. A burly man with long flowing white hair and wooden sandals. No one had ever called their sensei Kun and survived. This man that had a forehead protector with a kanji for oil on it did. As Naruto recognized who it was, Uncle Jiraiya. He couldn't call the man that anymore, right? After all, he was disowned. He was no longer a part of the family. Jiraiya. Why is my ex-teammate in Konoha? Orochimaru said. You're offending me, Orochi-kun. Can't I come to see good old you, said Jiraiya, with a big wide grin on his face. Orochimaru's eyebrow twitched. If this is what you came here to do, it would be best if you just leave. You've seen enough. As Jiraiya turned as he looked towards. He was surprised. Kid, not saying anything to your uncle. I thought you'd have already... At those words, Naruto leaped as he grabbed onto the man's vest. Jiraiya chuckled. No, that's more like it, he said, as he ruffled Naruto's hair. Sorry I couldn't come earlier. I had to keep up with my contacts, and it took some time, he whispered. As Naruto shook his head, wiping off the tears. It doesn't matter, uncle. It doesn't matter, he said. Well, call me crazy, but I didn't expect you to get an entire genuine team. After all, you're always taking on one student at a time. Itachi's mind clicked. That was probably why he was favoriting Uncle. He wasn't doing it on purpose. Can the fool who tried to peep on Tsunade, bathing, stop speaking and hand me back one of my Jennings? Well, Giki, Don't worry about Urkikan. I'll come by later to speak to you again. Without the old, wrinkly man. With that chuckle, he waved goodbye to the group. A fuming Orochimaru took his team as he made his way towards the tower. Orochimaru was angry for a different reason. With Jiraiya in the village, he had to relocate, where one of his experiments were going to be held. He had no doubt his old teammate would pick up his experiments, probably called back by his old fool of a sensei. He had to act really quickly. As they entered the office, Orochimaru produced from his mouth the package with the doll. As it made Uncle yuck, but at least it didn't have any saliva on it. So you successfully completed the mission, I take it, said Minato, as the package was placed on his desk by Orochimaru himself. Yes, it was an easy walk, Hokage-sama. As Orochimaru narrowed his eyes as Minato shifted uncomfortably. I understand then, so there's nothing that went wrong. Hokage-sama, what could have possibly gone wrong? Orochimaru said. Well, I received a report from Tanzuka Lord that some corpses were found scattered, butchered, and outright blown to pieces in the direction of Konoha. Did you have any encounters? Before Encore Itachi could say anything, Orochimaru spoke. No. We met no troubles, no enemies. On our way back to Konoha. As Minato frowned just for the slightest. Danzo, you old fool. Tried to send me out too, huh? Like if your root could have actually had a chance of bringing him under your guard. You had the guts to try, however, said Minato, as he turned towards Iruka, who was there as well. Well, Iruka-san, do deliver the payment for their mission. And as they all lined up, except for Orochimaru, who had a bank account, the money will be deposited into his account. The others received their Ryu bills. 40,000 Ryu. As Naruto had a happy smile at the sight of the money entering his closed wallet. As Orochimaru narrowed his eyes towards the Hokage, who was showing discomfort. The man probably felt angry for not having Orochimaru thrown out of the village to come back and say that he lost the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. He could already see the plan that him and Danzo had prepared. As he would say that the brat failed the mission, and he was not really worthy of being a shinobi, or accuse him of losing the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. It could have worked if he was not who he was. As they were about to leave, a red-headed woman walked in unannounced. As Naruto slipped behind Anko, as Itachi stood beside of her. It was Kushina Namikaze who walked in, with a smile on her face. The smile started to dwindle as she saw Orochimaru. Legendary Sanin, the firstborn of her now cold, her very cold friend Mikoto. And a kunoichi with purple hair, and she saw a speck of blonde behind them, as he was trying his best to look at something in his hands, a stack of ramen coupons. I heard the team with the pack just come back. Is everything alright with it? As Kushner said that, the three Genins placed themselves behind their sensei. After all, no, they could leave. Oh, everything is fine. You're dismissed, Team 8. As the blonde boy moved ahead of the two, once again being barred from the sight of him. As they left, Minato sighed. Well, I'm sure Katsumi-chan's gonna love her new doll, said Kushina. Her birthday is coming up very soon. As she grabbed the package. Oh, Kokyo-san must have lost the birthday card. I'll make another one. As the woman left, before Minato could let another team in, Iruka whispered towards him. Hokage-sama. I looked closely at Naruto. He had dry blood on his shoulders and his sleeve. Although it was slim, he probably had it washed. Iruka. It could be animal blood for all we know, said Minato. Yes, Hokage-sama. What Iruka wanted to say that he thought Naruto was wounded and shouldn't be kept in active service for a while to get some rest. As the group made their way outside, you're all dismissed, except for you, Uncle-chan. We'll be going over to my place for you to sign the snake summoning contract. As Uncle smashed, you waved goodbye to Itachi and Naruto. Well, in the end, you didn't get to buy a souvenir for Sasuke or Mikoto-san, said Naruto, and you got into danger because of me. I'm sorry, said Naruto. Itachi sighed, before he smiled and shook his head, as shinobi life is always filled with danger, and I'm sure they weren't expecting me to get them something. Hey, wanna come over for dinner? He asked. Sorry, but Uncle Jerry is in town, finally, after 2 years. I'm sure that he will treat me to ramen if I wait in my apartment, said Naruto, as he smiled and waved to Itachi before dashing off to his one-room apartment, as he headed off with a wave goodbye. As Itachi knew that his father would probably be proud of him finally getting a taste of blood on his hand. His mother would be worried. Sasuke would just smile cutely. But he was worried about Naruto going back to that one-room apartment all alone. He couldn't help it just didn't seem alright with him at all. It was 5 minutes later, as he passed by the park bench, to see the third Hokage speaking with a toad sage as a third gesture for him to come over. Ah, if it isn't Fukazaku-san. Just returned from your first secret mission, right? At those words, Itachi nodded. Just as Jiraiya excused himself to go and meet his godson, Sir Tolu-sama, as he bowed politely. It is correct. We completed our assignment and came back quickly as possible. As Sir Toby got a sad look in his eye. You know, when someone killed for the first time, something always break. Itachi was surprised. He never expected the third to be a pacifist, as he was known as the professor and the god of shinobi. But Orochimaru had lied. Don't worry, it's not the first time that Orochimaru lied about killing someone on a mission, Hiruzen said. He hates filling through the papers, so he lies about it, a bad habit, but something that he does. Itachi signed relief, as the third spoke again. Tell me, what happened? As Itachi told him what happened, Hiruzen frowned sadly. Well, it's the way of the shinobi to shed blood. I didn't expect to happen that soon. But you did nothing wrong, Itachi-kun. You did what you had to do. Protect your teammates and your fellow leave shinobis. But Naruto's actions leave me a bit puzzled, as Itachi's eyes were looking over the park. It seems like yesterday you were playing in the park. Itachi nodded before replying. Naruto stopped playing around a long time ago, didn't he? Hiruzen nodded as he reminisced at a memory. Flashback. He hoped that he saw him at the park. He wasn't the current Hokage, and he doesn't have to like a decision made by the current Hokage. Asuma and his brother was adult now. They were out of the house, and with Bawaka's death, it was lonely. Sure, the Hokage had disowned the boy, called him disrespectful, but Hiruzen knew how much of a bullcrap that statement was. The boy was active, yes. Loud, yes. Disrespectful? Calling the ex-Hokage JJ. That made him feel happy, not disrespectful. And the boy had his right to say no to what Minato had asked him. So he was at the park waiting, hoping to see that blonde, hyper bundle. At least Minato told the population that Naruto was a hero. But the Iron Seal. After people found out that it was weak, they started to spread a rumor, thinking that Minato had thrown him out because the boy was dangerous, and that the Kyuubi could take over at any time. He felt the era tense, the people grabbing their children. His eyes looked up as he saw Naruto marching over. He made a small smile, encouraging the boy to come closer. The boy bowed. How could this boy be disrespectful? The 5-year-old sweetheart. Nah. He paused as he saw that the boy was shivering a bit. But he saw that he wanted to say something. Sir Tobi-sama, said Naruto. The boy was finding the right way to address himself. Usually you come over with that JJ and yell something, as it pained Hiruzen in his heart to see how the boy was acting. The fear, the trembleness. It's alright. Naruto, it's alright, he said. As he placed a warm hand on the boy's shoulder, his eyes hardened as he realized his clothes was not just dirty, it was torn and dry blood. Who did this to you? Said Hiruzen, anger flaring up inside of him. Oh, no one, really, the boy said, as he didn't want to say it. If Hiruzen was able to read mind, he would have found out that Naruto didn't want to put the old lady in trouble. After all, she was so nice to him before. Probably the knife slipped out of her hand. That is why he got stabbed. Naruto? Can you teach me how to become Hokage? Naruto asks. In the flashback, the only reason why Naruto wanted to become Hokage was because he wanted to know the truth. One that Minato, Kushina, Jiraiya, and him himself knew. As he thought about that fateful night, so much had happened in such a short period of time. So much. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want the next part to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications I posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, stay in tune for the rest of what is coming your way. And I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. But I'm off for now. See you guys soon. Peace.